Hello, wrestling fans and fans of Throw the X. Welcome back to the Monday Night Review with Ben Conrad, your one-stop destination for highlights, lowlights, and of course, Miller Lights. We've got a jam-packed show tonight as I attempt to dissect tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw following a TLC pay-per-view from last night. So grab yourself a beer, or 2 or 5, I don't care. If you're under 21, don't do that. Okay, TLC overall was a good pay-per-view. Yes, WWE put on a good pay-per-view. Now, Jay and myself will go into depth and break down this pay-per-view on Saturday morning right here on Throw the Podcast. So follow us on Twitter at TTX Wrestling and keep an eye out for that segment. It's going to be great. So I don't want to spoil everything without Jay here to help me out, but I will give you an idea of some of the things that we'll cover on Saturday morning. We're going to talk about the 30th entrance into the Royal Rumble. Now that we know who they are, it's R-Truth and Carmella. And possible plans for that storyline now that the mystique of the last entrant, who could it be, has subsided. The Cruiserweight Classic of a match from the kickoff show, Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander. If you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend that you go back and do so. You will not regret it. I've watched it twice. We're going to talk about Elias's proverbial climb, not just for the hanging guitar above the ring, but his rising stock in the company. Braun Strowman and his gang of outlaws taking revenge on Baron Corbin and removing him from power. Natalya versus Ruby Riott, which was a very well-scripted match, very emotional match that I want to talk about. Drew McIntyre versus Finn Balor, which was a good match that saw Finn Balor, believe it or not many people had that one predicted that Finn Balor would go over here, but he did. He went over with the help of Dolph Ziggler and what the plans are moving forward for those two guys. Then we'll get into a match which I pegged this match as a bathroom break or run to the fridge and grab myself a beer, then walk around for 10 minutes until this match was over type of match. It was Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey, and let me be the first to say this match just far surpassed my expectations. It was a very solid match, and we'll talk about Ronda Rousey's improvement and some of the things that she still needs to work on. But nonetheless, good match. Then an even better match. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. I'm sorry, the new Daniel Bryan in a technical masterpiece that I've watched 3 times so far. Can't wait to talk about that match. Surprisingly, at this pay-per-view last night, the Boo Birds came out of hiding. And not during a match that anyone would have expected. It was a match between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Can you believe we had This Is Boring chants going during that match? We had Becky Lynch chants going. We're going to dissect this match and look at the reasons for why it didn't get over like it should have. Okay, and of course, a match that did get over, it was the match of the night. It was the Triple Threat TLC SmackDown Women's Championship match. God damn, that was a mouthful.
And then we saw the continuation of a feud between Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and the champion Ronda Rousey. That was started actually on the road to Survivor Series, but I think now we've got the confirmation that WWE is in fact heading in that direction, the Triple Threat direction, into WrestleMania season. So this should be fun. All right, speaking of fun, let's get into some more fun. And I'm talking about Monday Night Raw. I'm just kidding. I lied to you. I couldn't say that with a straight face. Monday Night Raw was not fun. Monday Night Raw started off as what I thought could have been a really special moment, a turning point, when all the McMahons, including Triple H, were in the ring at the same time. They gave the power back to the people. They said, we're going to be better. We owe it to the fans. We owe it to the product. You're going to start seeing new faces week to week. You're going to see new matchups. And then we get the same old recycled garbage. And here is my reasoning for that. It's very simple. The first match with Baron Corbin up against Kurt Angle. Okay, I get how Hunter came back out and said this is now a no disqualification match or a handicap match, whatever he said. A few minutes later, Shane McMahon comes out, says this is now a no disqualification match. Now at this point, it's like, okay, now I see what they did there. Okay, this is just punishment to Baron Corbin, not just giving him a second chance at the permanent Raw general manager spot. And it was fun for a while. The crowd started chanting, "We want tables." And this turned out to be, in my opinion, a huge missed opportunity for Vince McMahon especially. You know, when the crowd's chanting, "We want tables," loud, 5 minutes after you declare Monday Night Raw is going back to the people, the product is in our hands, that was his opportunity to come out from backstage and somehow incorporate tables. You know, not everything's got to be scripted. You know, speaking of, I'm sure somebody, probably Vince himself, was in Heath Slater's earpiece, because Heath Slater was the guest referee at the time, telling him, hey, you know, relay to these guys that, you know, get some freaking tables out there. You know, show that we're giving the people what they want. And you know what? It was a Band-Aid. You know, they brought the tables out. They completely, you know, went off cue and did that for the crowd, which was nice. But a moment for Vince McMahon to walk himself out into the arena and say, hey, you heard the people, get some tables out. I thought it was just a huge blown spot by the commissioner. And that wasn't the only blown spot of the night by any means. Realistically and metaphorically, when I say blown spot. I'll get to that in a little bit. But it looks like the only new feud that we have coming out of the TLC pay-per-view and into the build to Royal Rumble is Finn Balor and Dolph Ziggler, who I thought put on a good match for the time being until Drew McIntyre interfered. So, yeah, we've got that whole thing again, continuing through the pay-per-view. We had Rollins attack Ambrose, a surprise attack on Ambrose. We had Elias attack Bobby Lashley. We did get a couple snippets of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens returning soon, whether they'll be together in some capacity or individually, I don't know. But yeah, they'll be back. We also seen maybe, I don't know, a lot of people want to call this a bright spot that the Revival got some camera time. But if that was like the new face that they were talking about, the McMahon family, in the opening segment, thanks guys, you gave us the Revival during a match, but we're in a triple threat match with Lucha House Party and the B-Team. Like, you know? Anyway, moving on. Another semi-bright spot would be Rollins cut a short promo in the backstage area. He talked about last night's crowd, which I thought was a smart move on his part and the writer's part. You know, that was kind of the elephant in the room coming into Raw. So he got that out of the way, said it's on me, you guys deserve better. Kind of the same thing the McMahon family said to open the show. Anyway, Ronda Rousey comes out for a promo. Stupid promo. I mean, I don't know why they're letting her talk as much as they are. You know, maybe because she is that over-the-top baby face that sells merchandise that they've been looking for in the women's division. But she comes out to talk and, you know, this is what a true champion does. This is what makes a champion, blah, blah, blah. You know, same old stuff. She issues an open challenge. All the divas come out with Stephanie, and it turns into a 8-woman gauntlet match. Because according to Stephanie McMahon, remember, we're giving you guys what you want. So we're going to hand you an 8-women gauntlet match to end the show. And I thought, okay, this will be semi-quick, you know, as quick as a match you could have with 8 women in it, especially a gauntlet-style match. I said, okay, this is going to be short, and we'll get a nice, decent main event or a cool promo to end the show. No, this ran up until 11:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Saw Natalya win it. She went over Sasha Banks in the last bout of the match. And so now we've got Natalya as the number 1 contender against her best friend Ronda Rousey. Same old stuff. You know, the match, it's the gauntlet match, not to mention, almost forgot at this point, was the sloppiest match that I have seen in so long. I mean, it was so bad. Blown spots. The timing was way off. There was no rhyme or reason to this match. It was something they threw together to get Natalya her title shot, and it just came off just so disappointing to me. I said I spent the last 45 minutes of my Monday Night Raw watching this garbage. Anyways, so yeah, that was my Monday night. How'd yours go? Tweet me at TTX Wrestling, throwthex.com, and tune in tomorrow as Jay gives his take on SmackDown. He likes when people listen to him, so tune in for that. Do it for Jay. All right, that's the end of my show. We'll be back same time next week, so we'll see you guys there. Thank you for listening to my take on Monday Night Raw, in which I give a D+ grade this week. Hopefully next week we see a little bit more improvement. We'll see. That is next week. The Authority's back. Play me some rock and roll. Play me some anti-authority music. We're gonna rebel. There we go. All right. Nice. See you next week, you bastards. Tweet at me.